I'm not entertainment, I'm entertaining. Like the white girls in movies that fall when they scream. Any grown-ass woman stop and chatter for a ring. What could a peasant say that would matter to a king? Nothing. Looking kinda dusty, bring the solid gold.
Okay, how did you two get together and decide to do an album?
Well, we should probably start where when we first met. First, you wanna tell that story, DLP?
Yeah, that's cool.
Waking up.
First met down in Drone, right, in Manhattan. It's a club, and who was performing at? I think Chris Rivers and Young Dirty Bass. They had a show they were doing, and Joe was there. And, I think prior we spoke on maybe Instagram or something like that. But first actual meeting was that day.
Yeah, from there, he was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done records with Chris Rivers, I've done records with YDB, and I respect what you do. I like what you're doing. I listen to your music. Let's work on something." And then from there, I was like, "All right, well, you know, he already had the connection with YDB, so I said, well, if I bring like 2 or 3 other, you know, Wu-Tang progeny with me, and you can get YDB, and you know, maybe we can get us all on a record together. You know what I mean?" So that's when Second Generation Wu, which was always living in me, it started to manifest and bubble up like, oh shit, a possibility, you know?
Oh, so that was like the origins of Second Generation. Okay.
Yeah. You can't tell a story of just the origins without mentioning DLP.
Okay. Now, what's the meaning behind the title of the album, Computers for the Hood?
It's a message that came about during the making of it that I feel like something that is deeper than a message, because it's an action that anyone can do. You know what I mean? If you feel like donating that piece of technology to someone you see has the potential, or you see is in need of it, and take that time to do it. It doesn't have to be on a mass scale. I'd like to do it on a mass scale. You know what I mean? On some like go in Apple store, clean out the store, and go to the closest neighborhood. You know, where people need those resources, and then just start handing them out.
That seems like some pie in the sky stuff. That seems like something that the capitalists in the country would never allow to happen.
Well, there are programs. There's nothing on a national scale. It's nothing on like a big scale to implement that. But there's plenty of entrepreneurs and philanthropists that have already implemented programs like that. And then there's plenty of school teachers and non-for-profit organizations that have put programs like that into play. Because after making the album and doing research, which is a little backwards, but I realized like, yo, like I'm not the only one that has had this idea, and I'm not the only one that's put this idea into action, although I've yet to do it. But I want to do it on a national scale. I want something that's like, yo, wherever you are in the country, if you need a computer and you're going to use it for creative, especially for creative purposes, we're going to try and provide that for you.
Okay. The single Know the Gospel features R.A. the Rugged Man. It's a great song. You're welcome. It has like a dope gospel vocal sample through it. Is that correct, DLP? Is that I assume it's gospel, right? Okay. So how did that song come together?
Yeah, it's iNTeLL, baby. Second generation rule. Yeah. This is Renaissance art without the nudity. I was good with the books, but chose the movie scene and the music dream. I think I failed both. I feel like Leonardo in the woods with the bear coat. Now please be careful, don't let them think you crazy. You provide food and shelter and put clothes upon these babies. Only God can save me by helping me save myself. I got a job like Joe, but I'm focused to bathing wealth. A superhuman put bruises upon a mutant, reputing like Huey Newton. Fig Newtons is how I'm chewing. Rappers not making music, my passion will let me prove it. Not asking me what it costs, you gotta buy it to use it. It's uncommon, my rhyming like Tutankhamun. Confinement was by design and stay shining. My light is diamond, my timing is like a lion. Metaphor, no I'm lying, a simile what I said. Just sing my quotes when I'm dead.
I just sent iNTeLL a pack of beats, you know, and that was one of them on there. 180 pick, basically, right?
Yeah, but he means
So-
like before me. It
Oh,
was just you and the beat.
before you,
It was just
I don't
you and the
know.
beat. How did that happen?
I just wake up and make beats. I don't really like plan them out, and I'd say I make about 5 beats at a time, and keep either all of them or 1, 2, 3, whatever, and it is what it is. I really don't plan my beats out. I just go as I feel.
So-
dig through records or dig through YouTube.
Were you in a gospel mood when you were making the beat?
Nah, it wasn't like a
found
Sunday.
that sample and you was like, oh, I gotta do something. You just found that sample and you was like, okay, I
Nah,
gotta do something with this.
I was just going through records, and I just came upon the sample. Just took it from there.
Okay.
It wasn't like a Sunday or nothing like that. The gospel movie.
You got that from a record, like a vinyl record, or you got that from
Yeah,
online?
no,
You got that from a vinyl record?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's fire. That's another reason that song is so dope, man.
Yeah, I got that from vinyl. I sample a lot from vinyl.
Good. Oh wow. See,
Yeah, but I got a room full of vinyl.
that's why when I be asking you like, yo, what's the sample? You be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't disclose that. So your process is a little, fly by the seat of your pants. What is your production workstation consist of?
Yeah, pretty much. I got MPC. MPC is my main piece of equipment.
Which one?
I got the Live. I got Studio. I got the 2000 XL. I got the Renaissance.
Oh, MPCs plural.
Yeah, MPC is my thing.
Okay.
I got people asking to buy, the old ones, but I can't get them. But right now, I mess with the Live the most.
Okay. Now, DLP, you're like I guess you could say you're a boom bap producer, but there are some different sounds on the album, like the song Entertainment and Now I Know. How would you classify the DLP sound?
I don't know. My own sound. I don't know. I'm trying to sound like anybody. Try to keep my own sound, but also match what I think the artist is gonna sound with. I don't do trap music or nothing like that. So an artist like that came to me, you're gonna have to rhyme on what I make.
Yeah, you come into my world.
Yeah. And most of the time they sound better. I did I do remixes for just random records once in a while to post. I actually did a Post Malone record, and people were like, "Wow, Post Malone rapped on something like that." I listened to it.
Yeah, right.
And it was like, okay, but so I don't know. I don't know what to categorize my beats as. It's just I just try not to sound like somebody else.
Okay.
Obviously, it's boom bap, but I don't know. To me,
Yeah, you got your own flavor.
I focus a lot on my drums too, more than putting a bunch of extra things into a song. Because my thing is let the artist be the last instrument on the record.
Yeah, that's something I noticed about your production. It does.
I don't want an artist to be lost in their production. And that's the problem. What a lot of people is, you're not listening to the artist anymore because the beats are so heavily, saturated with sounds,
Overproduced.
breakdowns. I like to do it nice and simple and let the artist finish it. But I want an artist that can flow on a beat too. I don't want an artist that's just gonna spit. Like iNTeLL, you know how to rhyme. He really knows how to rhyme beat.
Thank you.
I love that.
Okay.
Not too many people do that.
For real. iNTeLL, earlier this year, you dropped a second generation Wu album, Hereditary.
Yes.
It seemed like there was a lot of stop and go with that project. Was that a difficult album to get done?
Absolutely. And it was a lot of stop and go, not only because of the pandemic, but just a lot of politics in the back end. But I want to know, did you get a chance to listen to it?
Yes, of course.
What did you think?
I loved it.
Oh, that's great to hear
I
you.
loved it. I loved it.
We had a more cohesive album ready to go. Then the pandemic hit, and they were like, hold off on the album, but still give us singles. So I had to, everybody went their separate ways. I took pieces from the album to deliver singles. So then when it was time to deliver the album, you guys had heard 50% of it. So I'm like, nah, I got to do something to make this more a cohesive project. Also, since we're releasing it independently, I'm like, oh, now I can really make it sound 100% like I wanted to sound, and not like what I wanted to sound and what Doc Street wanted to sound and what Tommy Boy wanted to sound. I'm like, well, I have no master now, so not that I ever did, but now I'm fully my own master with this project, so it's gonna sound exactly how I wanted to sound, and I hope that the rest of the world agrees that this is how it should sound. And I was happy that we were able to finally release it in January of this year. Did well, still doing well. And anyone that hasn't heard it, go check out second generation debut project, Hereditary.
Right. Okay. There's a song on the album called "The Owl Cry" where you speak about your family.
Yes.
How has becoming a husband and a father changed your life?
It's changed it in so many different ways, and the word dramatically comes to mind. But it's definitely made me sharper in my work ethic and my confidence in myself, because I'm pushing for more than just myself. I'm pushing for the future of my legacy, as well as everything else I was building towards. And then being a husband, that is something that I'm still trying to figure out how to do properly. When you don't have foundation of seeing that every day, it makes it difficult to navigate that while simultaneously navigating being a father. But I'm just taking it day by day, and when things get really rough, I just put it in the music.
Okay, so it's like the music is therapy in a sense.
Absolutely, but it's therapy in a sense, but also what I experience at these levels, being a father, trying to make it work with the mother of my children, like it gives you better content. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned Outcry. A lot of the reviews of the album have come in and people have been saying like, yo, Outcry is the one. And I'm thinking like, yeah, because Razkaz smoked me and Rusty just smoked me and DLP bodied that beat and guitar solo. And then I added the wings in the background and the drops and all of that, right? So I'm like, yo, that's a real solid record. But then it's also because my verse, out of all the verses on the project, is the realest, most authentic verse on the project. So I acknowledge that. And I know that people probably would want more of that from me, but it is difficult to rhyme about stuff like that or rhyme in that way. Like that was literally like I had my home life was crumbling, and then I went immediately from that to the studio and that verse came out. It's hard to capture lightning in a bottle like that all the time, but it goes hand in hand. I'm blessed. I enjoy being a father, and I love my children, and they've been a great inspiration to me.
Why have we never heard an iNTeLL You Got collab?
I think I asked the same thing.
So iNTeLL and You Got have been in the studio and I've been alive 29 years. I've been in iNTeLL 20 years. No, I've been iNTeLL 15 years. We've been in the studio one time. Wow. I don't even know if that song exists. I don't know what he did with it. I didn't like it when it was done. He probably didn't like it when it was done. Since then, I've grown a great deal. I've accomplished a great deal. But he's got a lot going on. I don't know if he's in album mode right now. I don't know if he's, because I know he's got his podcast. He's working on part 2 of his book. He's got a lot, American Saga season 2 he's involved in. So he's got a lot going on. I asked though. I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, like I've got nothing to lose. Like I DM, email his manager. I say, yo, actually DLP, I sent them Bad Apples. I sent my father Bad Apples as well to rhyme on. It's a skit on the album Computers for the Hood, but I love that beat. I was like, yo, I want to rhyme on this. So I just, I've been sending the instrumental to artists to see if we could get like a, like a Bad Apples remix type of thing going. But I sent it to my father to get some, see if I catch his ear, you never know, right?
Yeah,
And I say, yo, what's the chances of getting a You God hook? What's the chances of getting a You God verse? Should I pay? How much is it? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to manifest it, make it happen through all the proper channels. I've tried the family channels. I've tried the proper channels. I'm gonna try all channels until it happens, because I feel like that once that happens, then I can like not retire, because I'll always do music. But I'm like, yo, I got my song with Dell. Shout out to Dell, Funky Homo Sapien. Shout out to DLP for making that happen. I need my song with Lupe Fiasco, and I need my song.
It might happen sooner than you think.
And I'm, bro, like you see, my manifestation powers is getting a little better. But because for those, to keep everybody in the loop, I met Lupe Fiasco digitally, virtually at one of his shows, and told him who I was. And then since then, he's followed me on Instagram and has been keeping up with my movements and stuff like that. And I'm going to his concert. Shout out to Lupe, he's on tour again. Going to his concert in November, and I'm gonna manifest my way backstage to meet this. Because Mickey Fax is there. Shout out to Mickey Fax. He's gonna be performing on tour as well, and we got a record with Mickey Fax. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just make it happen, and then just pop up next to Lupe. And even if I just get a picture, that's cool. But I'll be like, yo, Lupe, like before I die, one of the things on my list is to have a song with you. So I got my Dell song, I get my Lupe song, I get my You God song. Then I can move on from rap if a bigger opportunity comes in another field that I dabble in. But I won't be like, because if like right now, if someone's like, yo, we want you to do this TV show, this movie, millions of dollars, but you got to take a break from rap, I would do it, but I wouldn't feel like I fulfilled everything I needed to fulfill in rap until I get that Lupe song with Lupe, and that song with You God.
Hold on, you were going to say something else. The DLP cut you off. You said You God, Lupe Fiasco, and then you got cut off. There was a third one.
Oh no, because I was talking about Dell.
Okay.
Dell. Three is Dell, the Funky Homo Sapien, Lupe Fiasco, and You God. These three artists, these are the three essential artists that, as I'm coming up, I feel like if I don't work with them before I can't rhyme anymore, I haven't fulfilled myself. You know what I'm saying? I can still move on and do other things. I'm still doing other things, but like my goal was never to be Drake. My goal was never to get platinum records. My goal was to be accepted by my mentors, my teachers, and my senseis. And once I've accomplished that, then I can, feel completed in my, because this is a lifestyle for me. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is not, it's a spiritual religion for me. It's a lifestyle. It's a martial art. Like it's all of that. So it's bigger than a check.
Okay. Why is Lupe Fiasco that guy for you?
Because when I was at the point that I was at in my life of writing, the girlfriend that I was with at the time, shout out to her, who shall remain nameless. I was in high school, and for Valentine's Day, she bought me Lupe Fiasco's The Cool Food and Liquor, his first album. And before that, I hadn't really been like bragging about Lupe. I think I might have been like, yo, I really like Kick Push. I really like that Kick Push song. You know what I'm saying? And then she was kind of like, yo, you kind of look like him. And then just out of the blue, out of nowhere, she bought me this CD. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, let's give it a listen. Changed my life. It was the first CD I think I heard where I didn't skip anything. I kept rewinding over and over and over again. It was really difficult for me to get through. I sat with the CD for like 4 hours. Versus, other music where you listen from top to bottom, it's like 45 minutes, whatever. But this CD, I just sat with it for hours, dissecting it, analyzing it, because I'm like, yo, he's giving us way more than I'm like, yo, do people realize how much he's giving us right now? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like 15, 16, of course, like, you know what I mean? The world knows. There's people that were like me at that time, older, wiser, paying attention. The people he made it for, the audience he made it for, to dissect it. And just the things he was talking about. Also, he's got a song on there where he's rapping from the perspective. It's a song about fatherhood and the relationship of fathers to sons. And he's rapping from the perspective of the mom. Then he just changes a few pronouns and he's rapping from the perspective of the son. I've never heard anything like that since Nas was rapping like I'm from the perspective of a gun. I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. He was like my Nas, my generation's Nas. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
What he's doing over these, and the production was ridiculous. All this live instrumentation. I'm like, this album is a game changer for me. So I became a lifetime listener just from the first album, and ever since then, keeping up with him. And there's just a lot of messages he delivers resonate with me. I feel like his path has been similar to mine, even though he's a kid from Chicago and I'm a kid from Staten Island. But yeah, definitely him. He's been the one that I've seen a lot of myself in. And then even before I let people know, like, yo, this is one of my guys that I look up to, people was making the comparisons.
Wow. It's interesting you say that. That song is He Say, She Say, by the way, that you referenced. Love that song. And
I cry. Now as a father and I hear that, I cry.
yeah, it's a heavy song. That might be my favorite song on that album. But you mentioned Nas. He's also like, Nas is his guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You can hear it. Who is the Computers for the Hood album made for?
DLP, you wanna give a shot at that, and then I'll give a shot at that.
Who's it made for? I don't know. People that love hip hop, and that I feel it's an album that gives. They don't make music that you can have fun with anymore. It's either you're making a hard track or trap music. So again, I just brought it back to that good old boom bap hip hop.
I'm glad he said that, and that was the answer he gave, so I don't have to say it, so that I can say I made it for me.
Yeah,
made it for me, 100% for me. Every hour, every second, every minute, I was making this album for myself as a way to stay sane through the pandemic, as a way to remind myself who the fuck I am, and as a way to let the world know, yo, if this is the last thing I put out in the universe, y'all will remember me and y'all will respect my pen.
Yo. All right. iNTeLL, DLP, thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you, brother.
sure. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
I